Peter Kinsella is a senior FX and rate strategist at CBA Europe. Good morning to you, Peter. First up, what do you make of that Turkish number?
It's a very, very heavy print. I think it's pretty much what everybody had expected. We were all expecting a number in between sort of 18 and 19%. You're just sub 18%. So definitely, in line with what we expected. It's a direct consequence of the weakening lira, and I'm afraid it's not really going to get much better from here.
Peter, good morning to you. So the Turkish Central Bank, for what it's worth, has an inflation target of 5%.
It does.
What do you see as the next moves from Turkey on this, either very much out there in the open or behind the scenes? Because we've seen these sort of rate hikes by stealth so far, haven't we?
You have. What they've tried to do basically is to try and make their domestic sort of funding a little bit more attractive than offshore funding. So they basically jacked up the taxes on dollar deposits, etc. What they're trying to do is that they're basically quite reluctant to raise rates even further from where they are. Although I'm afraid that's going to be the next logical step. Certainly with today's inflation print, it's kind of giving you still negative real interest rates in Turkey. And given what's happening with the Fed, given what's happened with the current account in Turkey, the interest rates are simply too low.
Peter, we've seen that PPI number. It's now in the 30s. It's an indication of where kind of inflation is going to be tracking next. And again, you can see this on the break-evens too, on your Bloomberg. Look, when do we start talking about corporate problems really beginning to emerge in Turkey? How does that actually work? They've got a significant euro and dollar exposure. Kind of, how does this play out from here?
Okay, I think you're actually already starting to see problems. Certainly, many reports over the weekend suggested that a number of sort of smaller retailers were already running into difficulty, particularly when it comes to refinancing themselves. So you're already seeing certainly a lot of the lower margin retailers, find very, very significant problems with respect to their debts, be those denominated in euros or dollars or whatever else. So we're definitely already seeing it. From here, really, I think what you're likely to see is that consumers are likely to feel the pinch, in a much bigger way, and consequently, that's kind of a big knock-on effect in terms of consumption. So again, as I said, it's going to get a lot worse before it gets better here in Turkey, I'm afraid.
And what about, could you say the same about Argentina then, Peter? I mean, this is another poster child for the troubles that emerging markets are facing at the moment. There was such excitement when Macri first arrived on the international scene, at least. Domestically, can he deliver the reforms that people want to see? He's going to be talking to the IMF this week. I
mean, he's going to be talking. I mean, they've already talking about a loan dispersal of about 50-odd billion. And I think what really kind of scared markets in the last weeks was when Argentina really sort of requested more immediate help from the IMF. It just indicated their own coffers were sort of running bare. I think from here, really, the central bank last week raised rates roughly to 60% or thereabouts, pretty much the highest in the world. Whether that has an effect at the margin, it should do. But I'm afraid you're seeing a broad, total lack of confidence in EM, and it's going to be very difficult for them to implement reforms just with what's going on.